I wanted to just kind of finish our topic and then talk a little bit about leaving retreat, and how to leave retreat and where to go from here. Okay, so we talked about love and we talked about compassion. And great love and great compassion are those two, when they're really, really intense, And then that spills over into what's called the Great Resolve. So in the 7-point instruction of cause and effect, equanimity was the foundation. It's not one of the points. Then you had remembering all sentient beings have been your parents, then remembering their kindness as your parents, or the caregiver, then wanting to repay that kindness. Then 4th is heartwarming love. 5th was compassion. Then the 6th is great resolve. So great resolve is saying, I want to do something about my wish for sentient beings to have happiness and its causes, and my wish for them to be free of suffering and its causes. I want to do something about this. So they say it's the difference between, somebody's drowning in the swimming pool and standing at the side saying, they're drowning, please somebody jump in and save them, and jumping in yourself. Okay? So the person who's standing on the side definitely has love and compassion. They want the person to be saved. But they don't have the capabilities to jump in themselves, or they don't have their love and compassion strong enough to jump in themselves. With the great resolve, you want to jump in. Okay? So you want to jump in and do whatever you can to alleviate their misery and to bring them happiness. Now you're standing there at the edge of, the swimming pool, watching these people drown. You want to help, but you don't know how to swim. Okay? So there's a problem there, isn't it? Your compassion is really strong, and you're doing everything you can at that moment, like screaming for somebody else to come, and throwing them life rafts or doing whatever you can. But you don't know how to swim yourself. So your ability to help is really is limited, isn't it? So this is the same situation as we're in. We may cultivate great love and great compassion for sentient beings, but we don't know the nature of reality. We aren't free of cyclic existence ourselves. We aren't an expert swimmer, basically, So we need to do some work on ourselves to make us more capable of being of benefit to others. In other words, love and compassion aren't enough. We need capability. Yeah, and so this capability comes from developing wisdom, and specifically, it's the wisdom that knows the ultimate nature of reality, because that is the wisdom that is going to cut off our afflictions at the root. Okay? The wisdom realizing reality, or reality is the emptiness of inherent existence. And we need that wisdom because that is what will cut off the root of the afflictions. Okay? In other words, all of our afflicted mental states, attachment, greed, anger, confusion, laziness, resentment, all these kinds of things, arrogance, jealousy, they all depend on the root of ignorance. Okay? As long as ignorance is firmly implanted in our mind, all these offshoots are going to sprout out from it, because all these afflictions are based on the wrong apprehension of how we exist and how everything else exists too. So based on that wrong interpretation, that wrong grasping, that wrong apprehension, then these other afflicted mental states arise. Okay, so remember in the first day we were talking about whether it's the brain or whether it's the emotions. It all comes back to me. This idea of me. Yeah. So that's the chief culprit. Yeah, is that we see the self, the me, the I, as something independently existing from its own side or under its own power. We don't see the self as it actually is. Yeah, but have completely wrong ideas about it. Okay, so not only do we think of ourselves as permanent, like we were discussing the other day, and so therefore we're shocked when we or some other living being, dies. It's like, wait a minute, they're supposed to still be here. Okay, but not just seeing things as permanent, but seeing them as, existent there from their own right. So when we think about ourselves, we think me, don't we? I'm here, me. There's a real solid me. When we look at other people, we think whoever it is, But when we actually look, what's there? There's a body and there's a mind. And that's all. Yeah, there's a body, there's a mind. And based on that combination, we impute self or I. But all there is a body and a mind, and a body isn't a person, and a mind isn't a person. So when we impute person, we're putting something, there's something real personal there, isn't there? It's a hard to describe thing, but it's not just, when we look at people, it's not just there's a body and mind. There's a person there. Yeah? And that person is there from their own side. We don't think, I imputed that person or I designated that person in dependence upon the body and mind. We think that there's some kind of separate entity, we're not quite sure what it is, but something that's there mixed in with the body and mind that is personal about that whole thing. Okay? Actually, that doesn't exist. But our problem is we believe it exists and we cling to it. And it's really rather shocking when you think of, if you think of somebody that you really care about and you think there's just a body and a mind there. Then that feels a little bit uncomfortable, doesn't it? No, there's not just a body and mind. There's so-and-so. So-and-so's there. So-and-so's the one I love. Their body, their mind, that's nice, but I love so-and-so. But when we try and find so-and-so, it becomes very difficult to isolate something that is that person. We can't isolate the body. We can't isolate the mind. So-and-so doesn't exist as something totally, distinct from the body and mind. So it leaves us feeling like, wait, I'm sure there's a person there. There's got to be a person there. And when we think of ourselves, there's got to be a person in here too. There's me. There's the body, there's the mind. I control them. But there's I. I'm in the driver's seat. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the one who has the reputation, not the body and the mind. I have the reputation. They're praising me. They're not praising my body and mind. They're praising me. Somebody loves me. I'm special to somebody. Not my body and not my mind. Me! Okay? So we hold on to that feeling of a truly existent person with ourselves, with other people, you know? And so this is actually a hallucination. And based on it, you can see that when we have a very strong grasping at the self, then that's how attachment comes about. Yeah, because when there's this really concrete self, then of course we're going to try and get happiness for it any way we can. And of course it's the center of the universe. And when we have this concrete self, then anything that interferes with its happiness or causes it suffering is the target of our anger. We get angry. Okay? So you can see it all somehow comes back to me. Yeah, laziness. Oh, I don't feel like doing anything. Arrogance. I'm so good. Jealousy. They're better than me. Okay. Belligerence. They're bossing me around. Yeah. So everything, you know, all these other afflictions are related to this wrong conception, this wrong grasping of the I. And not just the I, but everything else we think too has its own reality from its own side. Yeah. Irrespective of our minds, irrespective of anything else. Yeah. And so that's why we seem to be in such conflict with all these seemingly objective external objects. Because our basic fallacy is that we're apprehending them, you know, to be external and totally independent. We're not thinking that, oh, they exist dependent on other things. Okay? So, you know, when we have strong love and compassion, if we want to, we need to liberate ourselves in order to liberate others, because we need to get rid of all these afflictions, because the afflictions are what are keeping us from benefiting others. You know, we have compassion. We have compassion, but then attachment gets in the way and says, well, yeah, I have compassion for Aunt Ethel in the hospital, but I only like to see nice, beautiful things, and Aunt Ethel doesn't look nice and beautiful. She's really stinky and smelly. And I feel upset after I visit her. So you see, we have compassion, but our attachment to pleasant sense things gets in our way. We don't go visit Aunt Ethel. Okay? Or we see somebody who's hungry, and we go, oh, that poor person's hungry. You know, I want to give them some food. But then we go, but if I give them the food, then I won't have it later on. And I might be hungry later on. And we forget that, you know, there's plenty of food at our house, you know, and we can always go to the grocery store because we have the wherewithal to do it. But the mind suddenly gets quite miserly, like, oh, if I give it away, I won't have it. That's no good. You know, I want to make sure I have something behind me. Okay? So then we have compassion, but we can't even give a sandwich away or an apple away because we're afraid. We have a sense of poverty ourselves. Or somebody else is really needs help doing something, and we say, oh yeah, it'd be very good to help that person. But then we think, but then when I needed help, they didn't come help me. And then they also did this and this and this and this and this to me. So why should I help them? Let them help themselves. I'm going to go do something else today. So anger, we have compassion, but anger gets in our way. Okay, we see this all the time, don't we? Can you think of examples in your life all the time where this happens? You have some thought to do something for somebody, and then the mind has a reason why you can't. And it seems to be a really good reason at that time, you know? Like, I might run out of food today, and I might run out of money today, so I can't give my apple away to somebody who's hungry today. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Completely ridiculous. Yet we believe it at that moment. Oh, I can't give it. My apple. And then we hoard the apple so much, you know, because we want our apple just in case, you know. So you hold on to your apple, you hold on to your apple, you hold on to your apple. And then one day you say, okay, I'm going to eat my apple. And it's all mush because you held onto it for so long. So not only did another person not get it, but even you couldn't enjoy it. You ever done that? I've done that. Yeah. Okay, so we can see that we have to get rid of these obnoxious afflictions if we're going to be able to really live out our love and compassion, because the afflictions are always going to distract us from, you know, benefiting somebody else. We won't have time, or it's too stressful, or we don't like how it looks, or, you know, we can't do it even though we very well can, or, you know, who knows what reason. Okay, so if we have the great compassion that you know, and it goes to great resolve, and we want to do something to benefit sentient beings, then we see so clearly, oh, my afflictions are a big hindrance. Yeah, they not only hinder me and keep me locked in cyclic existence, but even more importantly, they prevent me from being of benefit to others, and all those others have been so kind. Yeah. So I need to get rid of these afflictions. How do I get rid of the afflictions? I've got to get rid of their root, ignorance. How do I get rid of the root? I've got to realize emptiness of inherent existence. Because ignorance grasps at inherent existence. This, you know, wisdom, realizing the emptiness of inherent existence, knows the exact opposite from what wisdom is holding to be true. So I've got to generate that wisdom. And I've got to use that wisdom to purge my mind of all the afflictions. But also, even when the afflictions are gone, there's this subtle dualistic view. There's the subtle kind of trace of the afflictions, even though the afflictions are gone. Okay? So this is, the analogy is like onions in a pot. Yeah? You take the onions out, so that's like removing the afflictions, but the pot still smells. So you have to wash the pot. So we may remove the ignorance and the afflictions, but the what they call the bakchak, the imprints or the latencies of ignorance are still there, and they cause this subtle dualistic view, which means that the mind cannot fully see all phenomena. You know, it sees emptiness when it's meditating on emptiness. It sees conventional phenomena, everything else, when it's not meditating on emptiness. But it can't see both of them at the same time, because these subtle latencies prevent that. So if we're really going to benefit sentient beings most effectively, we have to get rid of these subtle obscurations so that we can see all phenomena simultaneously. Because when we can do that, then our ability to really be of benefit increases gazillions of times, because when we can see all phenomena, simultaneously, it means that when we see a sentient being, we can know what their previous karma is. So then we know what kind of causes they've created. What do they need to purify? Yeah, what things are, could ripen easily that they need to stop them from ripening? Or what, do I have a strong karmic relationship with this person from a previous life? Yeah, when we can see all phenomena, then we know, is this person inclined to become an arhat who has attained liberation? Or are they inclined to become a Buddha? Yeah, who's eliminated all the defilements from their mind? Which should I teach them? Which path? The path to arhatship or the path to Buddhahood? Yeah, so you know that when your own mind is completely cleared of obscurations. So all these kinds of things that would really help you in being of benefit to others, you can know. Yeah, like, should I speak, here's a situation. Should I speak harshly, or not harshly, but should I speak strongly, or should I speak gently? So you know how that is? Sometimes you're in a quandary. What do I do? Well, a Buddha's going to know that, because they're going to know the different causal collections that, various people have accumulated in the past. So they'll know kind of what's the right thing to do in this situation. We often want to help, but we practice, open mouth, insert foot. Yeah. And yeah, so we have to get rid of that, and so that we can really address the situation in a way that will bring a good result. Okay, so that's why we need to remove even these subtle obscurations. They're called cognitive obscurations, because they prevent us from cognizing all phenomena simultaneous. So to remove those, that also depends on actualizing the wisdom realizing reality, and on meditating on it repeatedly, with the motivation of bodhicitta, and then using that strong wisdom to completely remove all taints, all hindrances, all fetters, every misconception, and every even trace of polluted karma from our mind stream. Okay. So that's why when we get to the stage of great resolve and we're saying, I need to learn how to swim, it's like saying, I need to realize emptiness, and I need to do all these practices to really purify my mind. So it's not only do I need to know how to swim, but I need to know how to swim really, really well, so that I can rescue other people. Because I could swim and know how to get myself out of the pool, but maybe I'm not strong enough to take somebody else with me, and they're going to drown while I'm getting out. Yeah, so you really have this strong determination to gain all the skills and remove all the impediments that are inhibiting you. Yeah, and so that's what the bodhicitta motivation is resolved at doing. So you get to the point of great resolve, and you want to do this, and then you think how to do it. And then it's, I must become a Buddha. I must become a fully enlightened Buddha for the benefit of all these other living beings, and for my own benefit, because that's the only way I'm going to have all the qualities needed, to be 100% great lifeguard. To really know what I'm doing when I benefit. Because you can know what you're doing before, but, it's sometimes hit and miss. But here you really know what you're doing, and there's nothing impeding you. You don't wake up in the morning and go, oh, I have a headache, I really don't feel like benefiting sentient beings today. Could one day I have a break, please? Yeah. You don't wake up with that kind of idea when you're a Buddha, or even when you're a high-level bodhisattva. Yeah.
This is excellent teaching, and it's an excellent goal. It's making me feel just a little bit helpless. what some things maybe that we could do until we become a Buddha?
Okay, so what can we do until we become a Buddha? Create the causes for becoming a Buddha.
So the meditation?
Yeah, through the meditations and through all the practices we do to purify the mind so that we remove the seeds of destructive actions we've done in the past, because those karmic seeds obscure our mind and they prevent us from understanding reality. So we want to do lots of purification practice. We also want to do lots of practices of creating merit through bowing, making offering, offering our service, offering our time and energy. Yeah. Then we want to study so we can learn how to practice the path. Then we want to have a regular daily meditation practice that is comfortable for us, that we can actually do and feel good about. Yeah. So until we become a Buddha, our job is to create the causes for becoming a Buddha. Yeah? Until you I don't know if Michael Phelps, if he would be a lifeguard. But, if you want to become Michael Phelps, let's pretend he's going to be a lifeguard Michael Phelps, then what are you going to do between now and when you become lifeguard Michael Phelps? You're going to train. You're going to create the causes for it. Aren't you? And as you create the causes, you feel really happy. It's like, oh, I'm creating the causes. I'm getting closer to my goal. I feel really happy about this. Okay? So it's very important when you're creating the causes that you really rejoice. Yeah. One thing that we really have to take care, and this involves what we were talking about yesterday, this kind of self-loathing, low self-esteem kind of business, is we have to prevent ourselves from saying, darn it, I'm not lifeguard Michael Phelps yet. What's wrong with me? I've been going to the swimming pool for a whole week, swimming laps, and I still can't, do anything remotely near him. What is wrong? I should be able to be this perfect lifeguard already. A little bit unrealistic, isn't it? It's the kindergartner beating themselves up for not being able to do calculus. Okay? That kind of mentality creates more obstacles to learning because our energy goes so much into putting ourselves down that we don't have that energy to create the causes to actualize our goal. So it's very important, if that mind arises that starts putting ourselves down or telling ourselves we're insufficient or deficient or damaged goods or whatever it is, that we stop that mind and say, that mind is not telling the truth. Okay? Just like yesterday when we looked and you look at some of those thoughts that you tell yourself and then you say, are they true? And you see that they're not. So then when you start telling yourself those things again, you stop and you say, that is not true. That is absolutely not true. I have the Buddha nature. I'm already creating the causes at my own speed, and that is good enough, because all I can do is at my own speed. I can't do more than my own speed. So expecting myself to do more than my own speed is unrealistic, isn't it? Yeah, you can only do what you're capable of doing at that moment. So it's senseless to beat ourselves up about it. What we should do is say, good, I'm doing what I'm capable of. That's good. And as I do it, slowly, slowly, I'll improve. Yeah. And there might be some times when I fall down, but that's okay. I'll pick myself up. Because they say it doesn't, the problem isn't falling down. The thing is to pick yourself up. The problem is not picking yourself up. Falling down, we all do that. Okay? So, okay, I fell down, I blew it. I'm going to pick myself up. Yeah? Mm-hmm.
I'm always encouraged by the human Dharma also very too, because one of the highlights will Albert come away from this is the baby Buddha legs.
Yeah. Your baby Buddha legs.
Buddha legs.
Right.
You get down on yourself, take yourself back. You're supposed to fall down.
Yeah.
Get up there.
Right. You know?
Down and get back.
Right. Because baby legs can't stand up for long, if at all sometimes, they need practice. Yeah, I think you should write the song about baby Buddha legs. We'll put it on YouTube, Greg. Uh-huh.
When I was a young man, I didn't really know how to swim, and I was swept out, riptide, and no one was there to save me. Some miracle, I was able to calm myself and make it back to shore after a long travail. And then I made a resolve to really learn how to swim. I did, and just right now it occurred to me, I never made a resolve to help somebody else in that situation.
I think you just made that resolve. Yeah, I think you just made it. Yeah, but that's a very good analogy. Okay, so this is our work, isn't it? This is our work. And we make mistakes along the way, but that's natural. The thing is to learn from our mistakes. Yeah. If we learn from our mistakes, then we really come out better. And we often come out stronger if having made a mistake. Yeah.
I think where the self-compassion comes in, that a lot of the mistakes come from really old habits. So it's not like you're going to make a mistake and say, okay, I'll do it better next time, because sure enough, it's going to happen again. So the mistake it's not a one-shot deal. The afflictions, the negative habits are, you fall down a lot around the same particular mistake. But it's the compassion to be able to see the awareness increase, to catch it sooner. I mean, there's a lot of different ways to celebrate that.
Exactly.
Because we can set ourselves up that if we catch ourselves, then we do it again, then we beat ourselves the second time we catch ourselves.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah. No, but realizing, it's the whole thing about habits, isn't it? We are very much creatures of habits. So it's going to take time to make new mental and verbal and physical habits. Yeah. But if we put energy into it, because cause and effect functions, then definitely we'll be successful. Yeah, we have to really believe in cause and effect. And if we put effort into changing, we will definitely change. It's not that you create the causes and the effect doesn't come. If you create the causes and you keep nourishing those causes, then eventually the effect's going to come. And you don't need to worry about the effect coming. You just keep creating the causes. It's like when you plant your garden. I always use this analogy. You plant your garden in the springtime. You put in the water, you put in the fertilizer. You don't go out every day and dig up the seeds to see if they've started to sprout. You know that you create the causes. You put the seed, you put the water, you put the fertilizer. When it's the right time, that seed's going to sprout. You don't need to worry about it. Okay? So we need to have that same way, when we're planting and nourishing seeds in our own minds. Okay? And if you have that outlook, then you can be pretty joyful most of your life. Yeah? Even you're not Buddha, even you're still in samsara. Still, there's a way you can feel good about yourself and about what you're doing and feel hopeful and optimistic and have a real sense of meaning and purpose in your life that makes you happy. Yeah? And okay, we're not Buddhas, but I'm going in that direction, and boy, am I fortunate. Yeah, because for a long time I wasn't going in that direction. I was going the opposite way, running the opposite way as fast as I could. Because that's how confused I was. So then okay, I'm going the right direction. This is good. I'm happy about it. And we just keep on. Okay? So those 6, ending with great resolve, are the 6 causes of the 7-point cause and effect instruction. And bodhicitta, the mind that aspires to become a Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings, is the one result of that method. And so we want to get to that result of bodhicitta. And then we, need to make that bodhicitta very stable. So it's not like you generate bodhicitta once and then it's there and it, it's you need to nourish it and nourish it and nourish it until it increases. And I was just thinking of the Olympics. And do you remember, watching, I watch the gymnasts because to me it's totally amazing what they do. But I'm really interested in watching their faces and what's going on in their minds and what are they thinking about. But you can see that sometimes during the warm-ups they do fantastic, and during the actual competition, you fall off the, I wanted to say hobby horse. What is it? The palm horse. Okay, palmo?
Yeah. Close enough.
Pomelo. Anyway, there's a few things there that you can fall off of, Yeah. You can. There's the balance beam. There's this horse. There's the bars. There's the high and low bars. There's the rings. Even when you're doing the mat. And your different things on the mat. There's so many things. So sometimes you do really good, and sometimes you saw them. They're sitting there on their tush. Yeah, but they always get up and do it again. Yeah, and so that's how they got to be Olympians, because they got up and did it again. Yeah, so you can see that by their practice, what they're doing is they're nourishing that ability. You have to, do it again and again and again. So it's the same thing with generating bodhicitta. It's not that we generate it and then it's there. It's not like that with any of the realizations of the path, that we get it and then it never, we don't need to nourish it afterwards. We need to nourish it and feed it and keep it strong. Yeah? It's not, At the very beginning when you generate bodhicitta, it is possible to lose it. But at a certain point on the path, it's no longer possible. But still you need to keep nourishing it and making it stronger and stronger and stronger. So to do that, we need concentration. Yeah, if our mind is always distracted, it's going to be very difficult to really nourish these good qualities in our minds. It's the same way, with those gymnasts, because the commentators were always talking about how much they need to concentrate, on what they're doing. And I was thinking about that. They need to concentrate. There's this whole room full of people cheering and talking and chewing bubble gum and eating popcorn and shouting and zillions of other things going on in the room. And they need to block all of that out and just to attend to just this. Because if for a split second their mind goes elsewhere, they slip. Yeah, so that's the same way in our concentration. We need to, develop that ability to stay on the bodhicitta or to stay on emptiness. Yeah, and so to really develop that concentration. But you can see with the gymnasts, it's not that they have the concentration all the time. Up and down, up and down, up and down. And so it is with us, up and down, up and down, up and down. But it's going to gradually increase. Okay? Yeah, until the point where you really don't need to worry about it anymore. Okay, but this is kind of our life project. Yeah, so people, when you're a Buddhist, you don't need to walk around going, oh, what should I do? You see all these kids kind of, and adults too, walking around going, I don't know what to do. Well, I'll tell you. Yeah? But really, when you're a Buddhist, you never get bored. Because there's always something to do, either in your own practice or for benefiting sentient beings. Yeah, there's always something to do. Okay. So any questions about that at all? Okay, and then I just want to talk a little bit about leaving retreat. Because you've had this week-long vacation with Chenrezig, and I hope you've enjoyed it. You have some good memories to take with you in a scrapbook. But you're going to be going back to your homes, and don't feel that everything you gained you're leaving here. Feel that everything you gained you're taking with you. Okay? So take what you've learned here with you, with the mind that says, I want to share it with others. And the principal way to share it is through our actions. So to really bring our kind heart, up with whoever we meet at whatever time, in whatever situation, to just try and practice kindness, okay, as much as possible. When you get home, you may want to tell whoever is at home waiting for you all about everything that happened in this week. I caution restraint. Because remember, that person has had a whole week at home, and you haven't been there. And they're going to want to tell you how the washing machine broke, and how the car battery failed, and about, their boss, and, the dog that peed on the rug. So, they're going to have their week of things that they want to share with you. So don't expect to just come home and pour everything out to their open ears, okay? But go home and listen to them and empathize and show your compassion for whatever's going on in their lives. And then start just telling them a little bit and let them ask questions. And as they ask questions, then you'll know they're interested and you can talk more. If you share a lot without them asking, you might tell them more than they really want to know at this particular time. Yeah, because they're still thinking about the broken washing machine. Yeah, or they might be thinking about something else, that's important to them. So don't feel like you have to tell everything to your dear ones immediately. Okay, just see how things go. Yeah, you may not believe this, but your mind has actually become a lot quieter since you've come here. I know now, towards the end of the week, you feel, oh my God, my mind is just so noisy. Actually it's quieter than it was when you came. Yeah, and so your mind's going to be very sensitive when you leave. Don't get in the car and turn on the radio. Don't go home and, surf the internet or turn on the TV. Yeah, because all of that sense stimulation is going to jar your system. Yeah, but go home really quietly. Yeah, restrain your senses. You're in a very good habit now of meditating morning and evening. Keep that habit. Just keep doing what you've done here. It's not that you practice one thing here and when you go home you practice something else. You need another practice. Just keep doing what you've been doing here. Yeah, you can keep doing the Chenrezig practice, or if you've been doing the practice to the Buddha, of the Buddha, some of you are in the SAFE program, keep doing the practice to the Buddha. Do some Lam Rim meditation, keep going through the Lam Rim. Go through your notes, that you've taken here, and really meditate on your notes. And if you haven't taken notes, then all the talks, are some of them already up, or when will they be up?
Not yet, in 2 days.
Yeah. So
Live TV/Sravasti Abbey.
yeah. So you can find them there. So listen to them again and take down some notes and some pointers, and then use those in your Lam Rim meditation to really think about the topics. Okay? The 35 Buddhas you can keep doing. Yeah, everything you do here you can keep doing at home. There's no law against it. Yeah? So, and you have a good habit already, so it's easy, to start tonight. Yeah? Now, you may be going back to work, so you may not have as much time. Maybe you have to make your sessions shorter. That's okay. That's fine. Make your sessions a length that is comfortable for you. And really try and put them at a certain time during your day so that they get done. Yeah. So just as, we all have our little morning routine. Don't you have your morning routine that you just kind of do automatically even though you're half asleep? Put some meditation into that morning routine so that you just automatically get up. You brush your teeth, do whatever, sit down and meditate for however long it is. And it's just part of your routine. You don't get up in the morning and say, oh, I don't have time to eat breakfast, or I don't have time to brush my teeth. Yeah. Do you? Oh, I woke up late. I don't have time to brush my teeth. I'm going to work. I don't think so. Yeah. So, you create that space and then you just do it. Yeah, and that makes it very easy. Some people find it very helpful to meditate at the same time that they know we're meditating here, because then you feel like, oh, people at the Abbey are meditating too. We can do it at the same time, and you feel part of the Abbey community. Or you might want to do it a little bit earlier, a little bit later, but just fit it into your daily schedule. Yeah. Now, doing that means that if you're going to meditate every morning and at least set your motivation every morning, it means that you can't go to bed too late. Because as soon as you go to bed too late, then your mind's going to say, I'm just going to sleep in tomorrow. And then I'll go back to my routine. We all know what happens with that one, don't we? Okay, you sleep in tomorrow and also the next day and the day after that and so on. So make sure you go to bed on time. And that might mean not talking on the phone so long, shutting down the computer earlier, telling whoever you went out with that evening before, oh, I have something I have to do early in the morning. I've got to get home so I can go to bed and be fresh for it. Yeah. You can even write in your diary, 5:30 or 6 every morning, appointment with the Buddha. Yeah. Then you tell your friends the night before, I have an early morning appointment. Yeah. And I'm not going to cancel an appointment with the Buddha. I'm not going to not show up. I mean, that's not too good, is it? Yeah. So you show up. Even some days you might be a little groggy. That's okay. You still show up. If you were meeting your boss at 6 o'clock, you'd be there at 5:45, even if you went to bed at 4:30. Wouldn't you? Yeah. So, you're going to sleep in for the Buddha, but you're going to go talk to your boss. Who's more important to you in your life? Okay? So really think about this and just keep doing it. And then make some time to come on retreats again. Yeah, we're going to do something over Thanksgiving. I think we might have a New Year's retreat too. I'm thinking of it. So, and then there's other places you can do retreat. There's the SAFE program. There's all sorts of stuff. Yeah? So keep on learning and keep on doing what you're doing. Okay? So, yeah.
I have one question about meditation. I kind of thought of it after you were done.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that, like, when I was playing competitive sports, there were times where I really got into a really good zone, where I wouldn't hear those voices. And I could see, it's weird to describe, I could see what I was going to do well in advance, whatever it was that I was doing. And that was a really deep-seated concentration. But it required me to be, I was physically active, whatever sport I was engaged in. And I've noticed that when I'm sitting on a meditation cushion, it's a lot different, because you're just sitting.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my big obstacles is I tend to get groggy, I struggle with that. So, do you think, is there any other meditation other than maybe the walking meditation, which I actually really like? I like the walking meditation. It does entail some physical movement, whether there are other forms.
Prostrations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah? Prostrations. Mandala offerings involve physical movement. Okay, offering water bowls. It's a practice of offering 100,000 water bowls. That involves physical movement. Okay, making sattsas, the small images of the Buddha. Yeah, that involves physical movement. Yeah, so there are other practices. And also, you can say mantras and do things when you're walking around. Don't think that when you're walking around you can't do any practice. You can do your mantras and everything when you're walking around. I mean, Mike has an iPod at work, and he has all these teachings on it, and you listen to teachings at work, don't you? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's the thing I found is really used to the iPhone is that you can take the reminder portion of the timer.
Mm-hmm.
So versus I'm studying, and you can go, I'll study for an hour and a half or something like that, and you'll just check in. Might be a reminder, what's going on right now in your mind.
Right. Yeah.
And look at the verse.
Mm-hmm.
Get
Yeah, that's very good to do that. Yeah. And so that way, throughout the day, you're constantly bringing yourself back to, either the verse that you're thinking about or bringing your mind back to compassion, whatever it is. Yeah. That's one good use of an iPhone. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's do a little meditation on that. So we talked about the great resolve and, the analogy with the lifeguard or the swimmer, and how we have to train ourselves and get in shape so that we can not only save ourselves but save other people as well. Okay? And so what you might do is go through all these 7 points, just very quickly in 10 minutes. A little bit on equanimity, a little bit about the other ones, and come to bodhicitta. Just so you review the whole process, so you see how all these points fit together.